Hey, it's Pastor Joe here. And I just want to encourage you to keep our Lent fast together as a church. And each one of us have prayerfully come up with something that is time for them to give up for 40 days leading up to Easter. But on Fridays, we are skipping lunch and we're praying together. And we are going to take this first Friday of 6 to pray through Isaiah 58, 59, and 60. And I just want to read real quick for you a section of Isaiah 58. Will the fast I chose be like this? A day for a person to deny himself, to bow his head like a reed, and to spread out sackcloth and ashes. Will you call this a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Isn't the fast I chose to break the chains of wickedness, to untie the ropes of the yoke, and to set the oppressed free, to tear off every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, to bring the poor and homeless into your house, to clothe the naked when you see him, and not to ignore your own flesh? Then your light will appear like dawn, and your recovery will come quickly. Your righteousness will go before you, and the Lord's glory will be your rear guard. At that time, when you call, the Lord will answer, and when you cry out, he will say, "Here I am." And then it continues. I actually want to keep reading. It says, "And if you offer yourself to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted one, then your light will shine in the darkness, and your night will be like noonday. The Lord will lead you always, satisfy you in a parched land, strengthen your bones. You will be like a watered garden and a spring whose water never runs dry. And some of you will rebuild the ancient ruins. You will restore the foundations laid long ago. You will be called repairer of broken walls and restorer of the streets where people live." There's a lot of hot takes on the Asbury revival or outpouring, and then there's a lot of takes on fasting in general, and particularly on Lent. But the only criticism, the only response that really matters is God. What does God think about our desire for him, our fasting for him? What does it look like for him to renew us? And if it doesn't look like us loving the poor, if it doesn't look like us rebuilding what's broken down, if it doesn't look like a restoration not only of lives, right, but of communities, then God has an issue with it. This is not just for us. And so let's pray as we fast that God would actually use us in this world, that God would use us on our blocks, in our families, and that he would use us to love people with power. That's what we need. So I'm going to ask us to pray that we would learn how to love people with power. Love those struggling with addiction with power. Love those struggling with mental illness with power. Love those who need a place to stay, are facing impossible situations, and oftentimes we feel powerless, right? But let's love the people around us with faith in power in the way that he leads us. And then our darkness will turn to light. God bless you.